A few months ago, I completely rebuilt this broken VANMOOF e-bike.
It was quite a big project, fixing all of the broken and damaged parts, getting it working again and also making sure that it looked and rode like brand new. Since finishing the build, I've put about 500 kilometers on it, and to be honest, it's been a lot of fun. But today, after a few months of proper use, I want to share why this bike might not be as perfect, or at least as finished as I first thought.
So I'll start by answering some of the questions that you guys left in the comments, next to showing you a few updates and also just giving you guys my general review of the bike. Welcome back to Gearshift Journeys, and let's get started. So a few people actually asked me about the range and the speed of the bike, and sadly, like many questions, it isn't very simple to answer because it all depends.
So I limited the speed of this bike via the amperage going to the motor, and that way you won't get that feeling of cycling up against the wall, which you'll have if you just limit the speed directly. Instead, it just slowly starts to level off, if that makes any sense. So by limiting it to 11 amps, that makes the top speed around 37 kilometers an hour, and I think you could go even faster, but due to safety I think that is plenty for now. Sometimes I also ride it on the lower setting that decreases the speed to 25 kilometers an hour, and that way I can go a lot further on a single charge and you really will notice the difference.
So the only downside to that is that, of course, when the battery drains, the voltage gets lower, and a teacher of mine actually once told me that voltage times current equals power, if I'm correct. So of course, when the voltage drops, when the battery drains naturally, the power also drops, and that does have an effect on the top speed. Not that much, but you can sort of feel it that it just changes by a few kilometers an hour.
Finally, about the range, well, that depends a lot on the speed, of course. So basically it will do anything between 30 and even 100 kilometers, depending on how much power you're demanding from the battery and how much effort you're putting in yourself.
So someone did ask me, would you change the controller box that's right here? Or well, would you delete it to put everything back in the top tube like my initial design? And to be honest, yeah, I sort of was planning on doing that, but probably I won't ever do that because it's just so easy and convenient to get to, and I think it blends in pretty perfectly with the design of the VANMOOF. So I mean, if it's not broken, then don't fix it. And in my opinion, if you don't know that it's not supposed to be there, you won't really notice. But maybe you guys, just disagree, so definitely let me know.
I actually have to fix the rear light in this video as well because it has some small problems, and that's a lot easier now that this case can just be screwed open and the internals modified. So even though I was planning on discarding this case after a few months, I'm just going to stick with it since I don't mind the look of it at all. So some of you, as it turns out, are just as crazy as I am when it comes to the little details. And a few people actually pointed out that the brake levers were pretty scratched up.
And you know what? Yeah, you're right. So let's fix that.
So I'm just scuffing up the brake lever so that I can throw a quick coat of paint on it. And I actually wanted to take them off of the handlebars because that's probably quicker than taping everything off. But the grips are actually glued on. I want to switch those around sometime. But today is not that day. So luckily I have some flat black paint left over from the fenders because for some reason not all flat black paint is the same or the equal amount of flatness or shininess. So I have the exact same one I use for the fenders, so those will match perfectly. Now let's spray some paint, peel off the tape, and then it should look really cool. And while we're on the topic of scratches, I got very nervous when I noticed the first couple of scratches on this bike after parking it somewhere. But I also know that if you worry about that kind of stuff too much, you will never actually use it. So for now, I'm not going to spend my time worrying about those things. At least it's getting used.
Okay, no, scrap that. So it is supposed to be used, and it will get scratched up when it's used, obviously. But I still want it to look pretty. So yeah, just quickly going to polish out those scratches, and then we'll continue on to the next part.
So some of you wanted to know about the gears in this bike, and luckily I have an S2 VANMOOF which does not have the E-shifter. I only found that out after I purchased the bike, so I got pretty lucky there, but let me tell you that you should really look for an S2 if you want to build this yourself. Anything would be possible, but getting an VANMOOF S2 to convert is probably the easiest way, since it already has that rear hub and it's the same one that I did, so you can basically copy paste.
So you could just take any sort of this Nexus type 3-speed internal hub wheel, and you could just swap it, put a little thing on there, and also a shifter onto the handlebars. So that would be something that you could do, and I think it would be totally fine. And actually, it would be the prettiest to swap over the original VANMOOF rim, that one. And this wheel, I believe it has a spoke broken. So if you want to know how to lace a wheel for converting your VANMOOF hub, definitely let me know so I can make a video about that. Yeah, since I need to do it anyway.
Now the gearing in this one is just fine, but I am considering swapping the 17-tooth rear sprocket for a smaller one, since the top speed of the bike now is a little higher than original, but since I'm also riding the bike on normal speed sometimes, I really have not made up my mind yet. So for now, the bike works pretty much like I hoped it would, with one exception. The rear lights still consist of the original internals, since I found a voltage output of 9 volts on the controller. So I was very happy, since it took a lot of time to swap the front light to a 36 volt LED. However, the first time it got dark outside, I put on the light and the bike did not work anymore. Well, as it turns out, the voltage source is meant for a throttle handle, and the controller gets a little upset if you draw any voltage from it without returning a signal input. So what that means is that I have to swap the rear light as well, so let's do that.
And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this in the video as well, but I made this thing, or well, I didn't make a lot actually, I just found the STL files on the internet. I believe it was Thingiverse, but I'm not quite sure. And this is just a really nice docking. I already had one screw hole in the wall, so that came out pretty convenient, and it's sort of strong enough. And you can just unplug the bike from its charger. Usually you have two hands, of course, not holding the camera. And then just chuck it in. So this is the part where I sort of freaked out at first, because as you can see right now, if you pedal the bike, the motor will start to work, which is just as you would expect from an electric bike. But then if you switch on the rear light, which of course draws power from the throttle handle, now yeah, it just doesn't do anything anymore. So it took me a little while to figure out that the light is actually the problem of the bike not working, and of course you can just power it off, but then you have to have this little thing up here, just a battery light. And I mean, that's a bit, I'm not building this entire bike just to have this battery light on there. It's in the same category as the brake levers, I believe, so it just needs to be nice and tidy. And so this is actually where the controller box comes in amazingly handy, because now I can just cut away the zip ties, screw open the box, and then rewire the light, and probably swap it for the same LED as I have in the front light, and that's just the job fixed. So it probably will take me less than an hour, maybe half an hour before it's finished. So that's amazing, love this box, and I'm going to keep it forever. The zip ties left a
quite a deep mark. So yeah, they left some marks in the paint. So if you're doing this at home and you don't want these zip ties to stay on forever, probably not put them on in the first place. But I think I'm just gonna run with the zip ties from now on, because I don't mind the look that much, and I sort of almost never need to open it up, hopefully. But damn, they really left some marks in there, so I'm not sure if these even will come out with polishing. So, all right, you learn something new every day. And you know what, worst case scenario, I'll just repaint the top tube of the bike. I have some paint left over. If I, of course, discard the zip ties someday, and it will look nice and fresh again. So no big worry there, but yeah, for future me, probably not put zip ties very tight on fresh paint. But like I said, learn something new every day. Let's continue. Oh yeah, and another thing you shouldn't do is press these buttons, then try to slide out this thing, because they will like unpress in the saddle tube, the seat tube. And then the internal part where the old controller used to live will be stuck, and you'll have a really hard time taking it out, as I know from experience.
Gotta give it away, give it away, give it away to the ones you love. It feels like sunshine the way that it warms up my cold heart. Sweet as sugar and a light that leads you through the dark. A friend to pick you up.
So I was planning to sort of 3D print a new little housing for this lens, because the lens is the only part we need, because that needs to be aesthetic, and I cannot 3D print red transparent stuff, or not that easily at least. So I was planning on just reusing the lens, but to be honest, the new LED that I got, which came in a light with also a speaker, I'm guessing this is one of those really annoying ones, so might keep that, might not. But that could basically, or that fits really nice into the original lens. So maybe I'll just sort of hot glue it in place, put a little heatsink on the back of it, and call it a day, because that means that I can put this bike back together right now, and that makes the video actually a lot quicker uploadable as well. So even though I sort of really like things to be nice and tidy, this might be a bit overkill, and if I could just sort of waterproof it, that should be enough. So I think I'm going to do that, what I just said. I'm getting a bit tired as well, you may notice, but still trying to finish this bike.
So it is the next day, which is why I'm wearing something else. But basically last night I completely finished off the VANMOOF, except for some black zip ties that I need to order or get at the store that I didn't have anymore. But yeah, it's completely finished. So let me show you around one more time. The lights now work, both of them. This one is a little bright in the center and darker on the outside, but it's worse on camera than it actually is in person. But it's not getting hot or anything. So yeah, well pleased with that. And now the bike works with the lights on as well, which is great. Also, of course, the kick lock still works, but now we have a new feature which is this very, very annoying buzzer. So I probably won't really ever use that, but since I had it laying around, it's nice to have. So that's a new feature on this bike. Seeing the bike fully complete now, it's actually just perfect for me now. I'm still very happy that I took on this project. Of course, hours-wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense in an economical way to build something like this, especially if you want to paint it green instead of white. But well, the color really doesn't matter. But if you want to paint it, of course, that doesn't make any sense. But it's just a hobby for me, which is why I'm still very happy that I took on this project, and still very happy with the VANMOOF. If you like this sort of stuff, please subscribe. Also let me know in the comment section what you think of the bike, or if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Drop a like, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.